Hello. Welcome back to Snugglewood, young Dreamlynx. My name is Arin. Nestle into your coziest quilt and let tonight's story, along with its soothing sounds, let your troubles evaporate away into the distance. Let them softly lead you into a restful, rejuvenating sleep beneath the beautiful stars above. And so our story begins, in a place called Snuggleton, and the sleepy giant tale of Snowmits of Blusterpath. The sky above Snuggleton shimmered in quiet serenity, deep indigos fading into powdered silver around the edges, as though the night itself had been gently dusted with frost. Under the vast canopy, soft snow blanketed every dome and chimney sweep rooftop of the village, their curves smoothed into gentle mounds that exuded warmth even in the chill. Snuggleton felt as if it had breathed in harmony with a gentle fall of snowflakes, which floated down in spiraling dances like delicate hints of dreams. Blusterpath began just beyond the snow-laden pines that circled the northern boundary of Snuggleton. A path of crystalline wonder leading into an otherworldly expanse of frost-kissed peaks and whispering winds that seemed to hum ancient lullabies. It wasn't merely a trail. It had a presence, weaving through the heart of winter's quiet magic, as if it had always existed, a woven thread in Snuggleton's story. And tonight, the Snowmits awaited. The Snowmits, as everyone well knew, formed only during the deepest part of winter's grace. Whimsical and fleeting, they appeared within the silhouette of the Blusterpath, after the snowstorm sighs itself to sleep. Seen only by those with patient hearts, their shapes were a blend of rounded pillows and tufted ridges, shimmering silver blue under the moon's watchful gaze. Like curious slumbering giants, inviting the wandering spirits of travellers to traverse their snowy folds. Beyond the initial edge of the Blusterpath, the world transformed, as if in rhythm with an unsung melody. Pines gave way to open meadows of untouched snow, where sparkling hoarfrost curled atop of the surface like lacework crafted by unseen hands. Some said these open spaces glowed faintly with the dreams of the forest itself, places where trees exhaled their softest sighs. Take a step, just one, onto the powder-charmed Blusterpath, and the world shifted. Snow crunched beneath careful boots, though the sound was muffled, as if all noise in this realm had agreed to tread lightly. The path carved ahead, a ribbon of pristine white lined with hummocks, each softly sculpted feature catching the silver light. Beyond that lay the horizon, obscurely sighted, where snowy peaks rose like ancient guardians, their spires crowned in gilded moonlight. An old oak tree marked the first true threshold, its limbs heavy with frost-laden moss. Nearby, a softly frozen brook babbled under a feather-thin page of ice. No matter how cold it became, the brook whispered on, its waters weaving the sound of distant chiming bells into the air. Each note, carried in the crisp breeze, seemed designed to lull the heart into tranquil rhythms, urging the traveller to move slowly, deliberately, as though rushing would disturb the fabric of winter itself. Blusterpath wove onward, the trail winding through softly sloping snowdrifts that offered small dazzles wherever starlight touched. The air smelled clean, brighter than the sweetest peppermint and tinged with the faintest wood smoke aroma, as if distant fires of unseen cottages kept watch. Puffs of snow lifted and tumbled in light breezes, dancing low near the path, as though partnered with invisible dancers. It was here, at the second bend, that the magic truly stirred. The second bend revealed a vista that seemed to stretch beyond the length of time. A vast valley blanketed in untouched snow, unfolded like a smooth quilt woven with starlight. The snow hummocks, those playful creations of winter artistry, were scattered unevenly across the expanse. Some rose as tranquil hills, their curves soft and inviting, while others stretched longer, like reclining figures gazing at the sparkling heavens above. These were the resting grounds of the Snowmits, where the path became more than just a trail. It became a connection to the stillness of winter's soul. A glimmer caught the eye, a pale shimmer, faint but undeniable. Following the silver glow, one could see where moonlight played across a hidden cascade, frozen mid-flow. Each icicle was sharp yet delicate, fragile but unyielding, with layers of frost creating a lattice of glinting silver and translucent blues. The cascade stood silently, a shimmering monument carved by time and snow, its stillness echoed by the serenity of the valley surrounding it. It was said that those who stood before that frozen beauty could hear whispers of the Blusterpath's history, carried in the faintest sighs of the wind. The Snowmits, nestled among the snowy waves of the valley, held an aura of mystery. Some shapes looked as though they might stir at any moment, their soft forms almost breathing under the gentle caress of the icy breeze. It wasn't hard to see why travellers gave them names. The Sleeping Giants was a favourite of many, but some called them Winter's Watchers, or even Dreaming Guardians. To walk among them was to feel profound wonder, their presence both comforting and humbling, like walking amongst ancient friends who simply slumbered through the ebb and flow of time. Past the snow hummocks, the Blusterpath narrowed again, leading toward a grove of silver-barked trees dusted with sparkling frost. These shimmering forests were unlike the dark pines near Snuggleton. Here, everything seemed radiant, their polished trunks reflecting even the faintest light. Icicles dangled from slender branches like tiny ornaments, and some trees bent toward the path in graceful arcs, as if bowing to passing wanderers. The sound of the brook still trailed faintly here, interspersed with the occasional creak of the frost-laden canopy when the wind passed over. As visitors wandered into the grove, many were taken by a peculiar sight. Tiny scattered pools nestled among the trees, held still by the cold. The surfaces of these frozen pools were so pristine they acted like mirrors, reflecting the glowing treetops and starry sky above. Kneeling by one of these pools, a traveller might catch a glimpse of their own face, framed by the celestial canopy that seemed so impossibly vast and yet somehow intimate. Some believed that these icy mirrors held glimpses into winter's dreams, tales spun from frost and moonlight that only the most patient could decipher. Moving beyond the forest, the faintest shadow hinted at a structure in the distance. It stood atop a small hill, crowned in frost and silver blue snow, a lone tower that seemed chiselled directly out of the landscape. Though it appeared abandoned to most, locals often whispered about its origins. It was known as Frost Spire, an ancient watchtower, or so the stories claimed, built long ago by travellers who understood the magic of this realm. From its icy steps, visitors could see the full sweep of the valley below, the snowmits scattered like dream shadows across the sparkling expanse. Frostspire's mysteries were locked away in its frosted stones, but the way it stood resilient against time and weather was a testament to the enduring magic of Blusterpath. The night deepened, the moon climbing higher and casting even colder light across the snowy landscape. The air held a stillness that bordered on reverence. Every gust of wind, soft and deliberate, carrying snowflakes that seemed to waltz in rhythm, and the unseen melody of winter. Here, at the heights of the Frostspire Hill, and surrounded by the wonders of Blusterpath, there was an overwhelming sense of peace, a quietude so profound it felt like a gift from the season itself. Travellers who reached this point often paused, their breaths visible in the chill, simply to listen and feel. The Blusterpath continued its winding course beyond Frostspire, disappearing where the snowy peaks began to rise in earnest. The trail became steeper here, more rugged, and though few ventured further, those who did spoke of even greater wonders that lay hidden in the untouched wilderness of icy ridges and caves. But for most, it was the beauty of the valley, the grove, and the resting snowmits had lingered in memory long after they left. The Blusterpath wasn't just a trail. It was a place where the world slowed, where the trivialities of life melted away, leaving only the raw magic of winter's touch. And so the snowmits waited, their gentle forms basking silently under the moon's watchful gaze, waiting for the next patient heart to wander their snow-laden sanctuary. Tomorrow, perhaps, someone else would walk the Blusterpath, but tonight the giants slumbered, undisturbed, the valley hushed and timeless, wrapped in the quiet grace of winter's deepest dreams. A grove of silvery birches stood guard along the path, their trunks penciled with delicate black lines. The snowmits here rested low to the ground, cushioned hillocks of snow that seemed impossibly soft by design. They welcomed the weary, offering space to sit, to breathe, to admire the delicate art etched by the world. The snowmits were unlike ordinary features of winter terrain. Their contours seemed placed intentionally, their forms curved to cradle whoever might pause to dream, to wonder. Around them, the melody of the Blusterpath deepened. The winds carried the sound of far-off twinkling, as though stars above were singing faint hymns of calm. Beyond the grove, the path dipped gently through a snow-carved tunnel, where soft, downy flakes continuously drifted downwards. Each flake was unique, a tiny design too intricate to fully understand. They hung suspended in the purified air for moments before joining their brothers and sisters in the powdery quilt blanketing the ground. The snowmits grew larger as one ventured deeper, their humps rising near the foot of the mountains dusted in silver frost. Here in the lap of the slopes, towering cliffs loomed in quiet majesty, their surface glowing faintly under moonlight. The snowmits nestled among them resembled a slumbering family of soft hills. They beckoned travelling giants towards stillness, their glimmering folds whispering stories of warmth and rest. There, near the heart of Blusterpath, a frozen pond served as a mirror to the heavens above. Its gleaming surface bore the reflection of all wandering constellations. Across the pond, thick pads of snow clung serenely to the bending reeds at its edges, shimmering in hues of periwinkle and pale blue under the light of surrounding mountaintops. When the faintest wind passed through the air, it stirred the ice gently, creating ripples in the starlight's reflection. But it wasn't the stillness alone that enchanted those who wandered the path. Every step along the Snowmits of Blusterpath carried subtle gifts, quiet affirmations sewn seamlessly into the landscapes. A gnarled branch, resting peacefully under frozen weight, hinted that even burdens could glimmer. The snowdrift of snowflakes against time-worn stones whispered of endless patience and grace. The moonlight, sifting in soft pools from above, illuminated a truth many knew but often forgot, that no matter the sharp edges of the world, there was always softness given to those willing to walk amidst it. Ahead, an ivory meadow opened wide, the snowmits now arranged like gentle stepping stones within it, paths thinly dusted with silver powder that sparkled as they wound their way forward. Bright flashes of something soft, almost gold, lay scattered here. It was as if the notes of the cosmos themselves tipped small droplets of warmth along the land, settling not quite like fire, but something warm enough to meet the frost. The snowmits invited exploration as well as rest, crossing their folds like navigating the curves of a cloud. They gave beneath each exploring step, though never enough to fall through, and when hands brushed against their surfaces, the sensation wasn't cold, just a calming coolness that eased weary thoughts, as though the snowmits offered to keep hold of any worries carried here. A soft silver mist crept over the meadow, lending a dreamlike aura to this magical place. A faint voice, more felt than heard, whispered secrets in the breeze, stories woven into every snowflake and snowmit that surrounded the traveller. Some claimed these whispers were from the forest's heart, an ancient realm beyond human understanding, where nature sang its songs unburdened by mortal constraints. But perhaps it was simply the magic of Blusterpath, a place where time seemed suspended and dreams were free to dance among unseen hands, where the world whispered softly and all who wandered could lose themselves in quiet wonder. The meadow extended farther than it first appeared, its soft, undulating expanse giving way to a distant edge where rustling pines gathered like guardians of the realm. The closer one ventured to this shifting borderline, the more palpable the enchantment became. Snowflakes here did not simply fall. They swirled with intention, caressing the air with mesmerizing spirals. They glinted faintly as though each carried a star's essence, bathing the snow-swept landscape in an otherworldly glow. Treading through this time-like terrain, a sense of clarity gently unfolded, as if the whispers of the snowmits carried unspoken wisdom to the heart. Each step into the deeper grove seemed to lighten burdens, melting away worries, like morning frost under a gentle sun. And though the night persisted, the world around felt neither dim nor forbidding. Blusterpath was alive with its soft hums and minute rustlings, the faint murmurs of an ancient woodland in peaceful repose. Reaching the tree line, the travelling giants would find the grove of pines waiting with open arms. These trees were not ordinary. They were towering forms twisted slightly, bearing bark that shimmered faintly as though kissed by frost-born light. Their needles, deep green fringed with ice crystal silver, gave off a faint, spicy aroma that mingled seamlessly with the clean, wintry air. Many said this scent alone was enough to ease weary hearts, comforting yet invigorating, like the memory of home on the coldest of days. Beneath the pines, patches of soft moss peeked through breaks in the snow, glowing faintly blue in the muted light. The ground felt unusually warm, as if heat had radiated up from the deep within the earth to comfort travellers stopping beneath the canopy of fragrant limbs. Some claimed they could hear faint melodies rising from these glowing patches, not unlike lullabies born from the soul of the woods themselves. Others simply sat upon the mossy beds, fingers brushing the velvety surface, marvelling at the serene spirit of Blusterpath's heart. Beyond the pines, the meadow slowly began to fragment into a patchwork of natural wonders. To the west, a series of low, rolling hills stretched outward, their crests capped in a pale silver that sparkled under a moon that had risen higher now, bathing all in its soft radiance. These were known as the Whispering Dunes, and many believed they held voices from the sky. Each trot across their gentle slopes released a tone, not a sound of friction or through movement, but a true note, faint and harmonious, as though the hills housed invisible instruments tuned to the rhythm of the breeze. Between the hills and the stream lay the dream carpet, a vast, unbroken expanse of snow kissed with brilliant streaks of lavender, pale gold and blue. These hues appeared as if the auroras themselves had descended upon the land and folded themselves into the frost below. Walking across this ethereal landscape felt akin to moving across a painter's unfinished masterpiece, each colour shifting slightly, interacting to create subtle gradients that harmonized with the traveller's step. Many said that while the dream carpet lacked distinct physical whispers like the snowmits or the pines, it instead spoke to the soul on a subtler level, drawing out forgotten hopes, dreams, and memories, so they might be reflected back in the hues of the snow itself. Giants often went silent here, awestruck by the unseen connection between themselves and the heart of the sleeping world. The further one wandered, the softer the atmosphere became, until they reached a space where the air itself seemed to change. It was as though Blusterpath's influence had merged into a singular point, an ultimate crescendo of its magic, both gentle and magnificent. At the meadow's true centre, a towering tree rose, unlike anything encountered before. It shimmered not only with frost, but with light from within. Colours faint and prismatic danced across its frozen boughs, giving the impression that the tree had captured pieces of the aurora and now held them in perpetual motion. This was the Hearthspire, a beacon for all who found themselves at the end of Blusterpath's winding trails. Its trunk bore intricate markings, not carved by any hand, but naturally woven over time, resembling runic patterns and flowing script. And though the Hearthspire was seemingly fixed in place, some swore they saw its branches quiver faintly, moving softly to an unspoken rhythm, an eternal dance with the murmuring winds and drifting snow. Beneath the Hearthspire's shimmering canopy, a circular hollow of smooth snow formed a natural seat around the base of the tree. Here the snow held no chill. It cradled all who rested upon it like the softest cushions, warming gently as if responding to touch. To sit beneath the Hearthspire was to feel utterly unburdened, enveloped in serenity so profound that even the faint rustle of the breeze faded away. Time itself seemed to lose meaning here, as though the universe held its breath, waiting to remind travellers what it meant to simply be. Whispers carried by the winds became clearer here, forming meaningful, ethereal words in languages both familiar and not. Some claimed to hear lullabies from childhoods long past, while others heard faint encouragement, as if the land knew their journeys and wished them well. Many left gestures beneath the hearthspire, simple objects like polished stones or small wooden carvings, offerings of gratitude to a place that seemed to welcome all without question. The nearby snow seemed sprinkled with sparkling dust, a subtle gold that shone more brightly the closer one gazed. These faint golden flecks would coat a giant's boots lightly as they moved, and upon leaving Blusterpath, rumour had it, would fade gradually but surely, as though the magic was never meant to be taken outside its boundaries. Some held on to the belief that the golden flecks carried gifts, gentle reminders of peace, guidance, or resilience infused into their spirit, for those who dared linger near the hearthspire long enough. The night often rewarded them with one final spectacle. From behind the towering cliffs to the north, the skies would slowly transform. Curtains of green, purple, and blue began to shimmer and ripple, a dazzling aura revealing itself to those who had ventured deep enough into the winter's fold. The aurora was like any other in the world, for it moved with the same deliberate grace as Blusterpath itself, flowing slowly and lingering patiently.